Hello, I am Simon.
Hello, I'm Ben.
Hello, I'm James.
And we are BIFFY CLYRO, and you're watching All Schools. New school, old school, all schools.
I'll never learn. I am explosive and volatile.
I hope you had a great time in Berlin and yesterday at Circus Halligalli.
Yeah, we've had a fantastic time in Berlin. It feels like not too long since we were here before, but it's always nice to come back and just relax. And we don't often get time off in a city, so it was nice last night. We went out for a meal and just spent a little bit of time here. And of course, doing Circus Halligalli was a lot of fun. So we're on top of the world.
Great. I saw the show yesterday and I haven't known that you were there and I was like, oh, okay. That's why you're here in Berlin.
Yeah.
I was wondering what you're doing here. So, okay.
We are in and out like spies. We just pop up somewhere, play a couple of tunes, and then we're off. So,
And then you're in the next city for
exactly.
the
That's
next second.
exactly the entire existence.
Exactly.
So I think 2 months ago you released your new album Ellipsis, and when you look at the cover, it seems like it feels really relaxing and quiet and actually like you found yourself or something. What does this cover mean to you?
I think that's a very good description. I think we thought a lot about the band going through a period of rebirth. You know, certainly with the music, we tried to tackle things in a new way, and working with a new producer, Rich Costy. It felt like we were starting again as a band after 6 albums. So I think it hints towards that. It hints at the rebirth as a band, and we just wanted to strip everything away and just be left with a very stark image of us, not hiding behind anything, not trying to look sexy or anything like that.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Not trying.
Were you not trying?
Not trying to look sexy. And I think it marries really beautifully with the music inside the record.
Okay, and I think it's no secret anymore that this album is different than others from you.
Yeah.
And have you been scared or worried about the reactions of your fans when you wrote this album?
Yeah, I think whenever you work on something that you care deeply about, you worry. You want people to like it. For us, when we work on a record, we still work in our small town in Scotland. We practice on a farm, and that's where we judge whether something's good. The fear comes later, once we've made the record and we start thinking, well, I hope people will like this, but the fear doesn't infiltrate the making of the record. But certainly once we've made it, you start to worry, and as I say, when it's something you pour your heart and soul into, you want people to like it. So if people don't like it, it hurts, and when people do, it feels great. But the thing is, as a band, after 6 or 7 albums, it's up to us to have a reason to make new records, and we don't want to be the kind of band that does the same record over and over. We'd much rather take a chance and make something awful, or than just do the same thing. And I feel like we've found a new area for our band to explore. Whenever we've been in the studio, we've always been about overdubbing, building things as big as they could possibly be. And in this album, we kind of discovered that we don't have to do everything that way. We don't need strings on every songs, so there's definitely a fear. There's always a fear, but the belief is that it has to be there in the first place. It would be horrible to make a record purely for other people and then to think about what they think. So even if people don't like this record, I don't really care, because I think it's fantastic. Obviously I do care, but I'm really happy with the work we've made, and that's that.
I think that's a nice place to be when you care about something so deeply that nobody else's opinion could sort of pull you away from your opinion. You care about it, and I mean that's not really reality.
It's like getting a nice new haircut. Like you go out, get a nice new haircut, and you think I look mint, and then someone looks at you, and go, "What did you come as, dickhead?" But you've got the hair. You're like, well, fucking, I'm going to rock it, man. So that's what we were doing. We're fucking rocking it.
Well, it actually sounds that you put all your heart in this record.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And our hair. We worked hard on this hair. The music came second. It was all about how can we grow
Just because of
Simon's hair.
Yeah, that's why we had so much time off.
Why haven't you just put your
hair
hair on the cover?
Yeah, maybe, I know. Maybe the next album there'll be a locket in every locket in every. Yeah, let's not do that. Let's not.
Maybe. So, did you want to break your musical habits with this album?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we definitely did. I mean, being a band that had made 6 records, it'd be quite easy to go in and resort to old kind of techniques of recording and old ways of playing. So we really wanted to break the mould with this record, and getting Rich Costey on board to help us record it was, I guess, the first step in doing that. So yeah, it was challenging, you know, and uncomfortable. As you can imagine. Well, yeah, because you're going out your comfort zone, so you're doing things that you're not used to doing, and you're trying not to resort into what feels comfortable and what feels right. So a lot of the time, you're doing things that feel wrong, and you have to trust that the end result is going to be great, and that you know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Well, the first day of recording, Ben was behind the drums, and Rich Costey just came in and started taking away pieces of the drum kit and telling you to lead with your left hand and play the bass drum with your left foot. And I think that was just a good kind of example of what was to come and how things were constantly shifting underneath your feet. But it was the only way to really keep things moving forward and to try things that were new. And as Simon sort of said before, going into the studio, we were in a totally different headspace in terms of using the studio as a means of making sounds, as opposed to just a way to document the sounds that we were creating. And I think right from the off, things just felt exciting and different, and it was challenging, but I think it kept it interesting, not knowing what we were going to do next.
Mm-hmm. So that's the reason as well why you have chosen a new producer, Rich?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, Phil, he's made some of our favourite records over the years. Like, he does a Danish band called Mew, who are one of our favourites, and did Fiona Apple, Mars Volta. Google him. I should Google him. I should Google him. But yeah, we knew we'd never really used the studio as like an instrument. You know, we'd never used the full capacity. As James says, the studio was always a means to an end. You know, like we just move our gear in there, record it, and then that's it. And this time we knew Rich was a master of the sonics of the sounds, and he'd so many synthesizers. He'd old like Russian synthesizers from the 70s that never did the same thing twice. You know, and it was just. It was kind of like getting a kind of makeup, you know, a dressing up box almost, you know, like it was like all these toys that we'd never used before, and we tried them on, and not everything worked. And because we know that when we play live, we're always going to be a rock band. We're a heavy rock band. That's what we love, you know. That's what makes us get up on stage every night. But not every record has to be the same kind of presentation. And Rich definitely exposed us to what a studio can do. You can make heavy sounds without necessarily using distortion all the time. And with my guitars, I normally like to put like 10 or 12 guitar tracks to make one guitar sound. And this time Rich was like, let's just get one great guitar sound. So it was he has definitely re-taught us. You know, we learned probably more in the studio with Rich than we have in the previous 6 albums, and that's the kind of area we'll explore in the next couple of records, you know. So if you're into it, then keep listening, and if you're not into it, fuck off.
Wow. It's just like it really sounds like you explored music new, you know. Yeah. Like things you've never seen before, and it's like you say, all those toys around us.
That was the most important thing. We wanted to feel like we were teenagers making our first record again, and not know what we were doing, because you can lose the romance of making a record. Once you make 5 or 6 albums, it can sometimes feel like you're doing a job.
A record again.
And we'd never want to be that kind of band. You know, we want to feel like we're always doing something new, and that it's the first time doing it, and that it could be awful, but it might be amazing, and we never want to know that it's going to be be good. Yeah. You know, like I think that's dangerous. And
just awful or amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing in between. Yeah. That's exactly what we aim to do. You know. And in the last interview, actually, the lovely guy Peter, he was like, "I love 12 of the songs on the album, and I hate one of the, you know, he hates the country song." And it was like, great, that's that's what we
A
want.
lot of people say they hate the country song.
Yeah, no.
I like the country
Thank
song.
you.
I don't know why.
That's good.
It's a good song.
Because it's awesome, not great awesome.
Yeah, exactly. It's,
Not bad as fuck.
And when did you decide to put a child's choir on it?
again, that was near the end. Sometimes an idea can be so wrong that it's right, you know, and or some people say so wrong that it's very wrong. But you know, I think the most ridiculous ideas are sometimes the best, and I love the children's choir in Friends and Enemies because it's kind of really creepy that this grown man is singing with these kids, and the sentiment of a friend as good as you, who needs enemies. Like the kids aren't old enough to kind of like to experience that yet, and so yeah, I really loved the kind of it sounded creepy, you know, in a good way. So yeah, children's choir, why not? We've done it now.
This is so cool.
All we need is a flute solo now, and then we've done it all, you know.
You need to explore new things, right?
Always.
Well, I know that you as a band had the last year, I think, some familiar issues and stuff. And do you think music is a cure for all of that?
I think it helps. It definitely helps me process feelings. By writing songs, I feel like I address things that I struggle to talk about in daily life. And I think when I was growing up listening to music, that's what I felt. I felt like I was getting answers and working out life through music rather than sitting talking to people. And so it definitely helps. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I think with Simon's lyrics, a lot of times some of our fans can just get in a mindset of realising that somebody else has a difficult time in their life. You know, life isn't perfect. I think sometimes knowing that other people have difficulties in their life can sort of reduce your worries. You know that other people can get through life and you can keep moving forward even when it's challenging. And I think just to know there's other people in the same boat as you, I think really helps. And
I think the one good thing about sad times is that you tend to pull together with your friends and your family, and there's almost community in kind of sadness or going through tough times. And I think that's why at our shows as well, some of the saddest songs get the biggest sing-alongs, and people there's almost a joy to it when you can share those feelings. So I think whenever you can share any kind of negativity is important. It's healthy and it helps you process things. And for me, it's the writing of the songs, and hopefully for our fans and things, it's listening to the songs. But yeah, I think it's such a healer music, you know, and it's strange to be a grown man saying it. You know, like I still feel exactly the same way about music as I did when I was a teenager. I think it can heal and it can make you see things from other people's perspective. It can teach you about the world. It can teach you about yourself. And so yeah, I firmly believe in the healing power of music. Not to sound like a hippie, but I think we all do, or else we all wouldn't be devoting our lives to music. You know, I think it's like a wonderful thing, you know.
I agree with that.
Okay.
'Cause lately it's hard to let you know that I'll never learn.